The three gyms in the Seminole District, which made up the district for many, many, many years, has now been cut down to one. But Jim Thacker, no plans to stop soon that I know of. And why should he? Cavaliers having another successful season. The head coach of the Jefferson Forest Cavaliers joined me on the Sports Buffet podcast on Tuesday. Cavs have Amherst and Heritage this week before winding up with Rustburg on the road. Coach Thacker talks about the turning points of the season. We talk some general baseball, and we talk about how tough it is to sustain success. It's Jim Thacker on the Sports Buffet podcast. Jim Thacker, head coach of the Jefferson Forest Cavaliers, joins me here on the Sports Buffet podcast. Cavaliers in a fight right now at the top of the Seminole District, right there with Amherst. Of course, EC Glass bearing down on them too. Coach, I know no season in the Seminole is easy. Talk about the challenge of this season for you guys.
Well, not only have there been challenges, in terms of the other teams would not being very competitive. Again, the district has a lot of parity. We've had to fight through some injury issues and that type of thing. We lost our starting center fielder, Mikey Wallman, at the beginning of the year, or really at the beginning of the tryout, due to an ankle injury that required surgery. So we've had to try and piece some pieces of the puzzle together to make it fit. And, it took us a while, kind of struggled in the beginning. But now we think we've got it figured out, and things are pretty good right now.
One thing I've always liked, too, that you guys do is you don't just sit there and twiddle your thumbs over spring break. You normally try to go to a tournament, normally away from the area, too, to get, I assume, that team bonding going, and you do this year, and you win the tournament. Talk about the importance of playing over spring break and really getting away from Lynchburg, too.
Well, I think you touched on some of it, Bob, in terms of the team bonding and getting away and playing some teams that we won't see again this year. That's good. It's especially good this year because we were kind of struggling at 5-4 when we left for North Carolina for the tournament, and we juggled the lineup around a little bit down there, and it seemed to click, and so far it's been clicking pretty good because we've rolled off 8 in a row. 3 there, and win the championship, and then 5 back here so far.
What do you feel maybe got that to be, if we could call it a turning point in the season?
Well, our pitching came around, and kids started finally hitting the clutch. We were leaving a lot of runners on base early in the year, not getting a key hit, and now we seem to be doing that to a much better degree.
You guys have a big week coming up this week with games against, on the schedule, Amherst on Wednesday, Heritage on Friday. Both of them are at home. Of course, in the spring, everything is weather permitting. Talk about the importance of this week as we head into the Seminole District Tournament, which is only a short week and a half away, too.
Well, the 3 games remain on the regular season schedule. They're all big. Our kids know that they need to win out to win this thing. They control their own fate or destiny, whatever you want to call it. And, they know the bullseye's on their back. They're just Vinton District. And hopefully we've got enough senior leadership that can carry us over it.
Let's talk about Amherst specifically since you're tied with those guys. What makes Coach Crawford's squad so tough?
Well, they pitch well. They don't make many mistakes on defense, and they seem to hit the ball in the clutch more so than a lot of teams. That was very indicative of when we played Amherst there. I think we out-hit them, but we couldn't score runs with clutch hits, and they got runners on base, and they followed it up with clutch hits behind it to score the run.
I've talked with several coaches about this, and I'll talk to you as well because you played college baseball. Several of your assistants also have played college baseball, and to me, when you have that, you almost treat your program like a college program, especially when you guys have success year in, year out. Talk about, the importance of treating the program like it is a college program in a way.
Well, I don't know how much we treat it like a college program, but I do know that I'm very blessed with a lot of quality coaches, not only with Harold Drumheller and Barry Gordon heading up our JV program, but the others that I have with me around me at the varsity level with Ryan Gilliland, playing at UVA, being a 4-year starter for them on the infield. Rich Glover having a wealth of knowledge as our pitching coach, and then Kelly Russell handles our outfielders. It makes my job very easy in terms of what I have to do day in, day out. I just turn those guys loose with their position players, and I kind of sit back and watch and make the plan and make it all go. But it's a great staff to have, and I think part of it is the consistency in terms of how our program has been. What I think is so good through the years is because the staff has stayed together. We haven't had any turnaround for a while now, and I think that's a big key.
And at the same time, because you guys have had a lot of people that have gone on to play college baseball. Jared Milner sticks out to me just because he's right down the street over at Lynchburg, as well as Trevor Johnston. But talk about, in the fact of when you're coaching a kid, you don't want them to just do something because Coach Thacker said do it. You want them to know why they're doing it. To me, that's kind of what I meant by the college program as well. Of you're not having the kids just do it to do it. You want them to know why they're doing it. I take it.
Yeah, and that's true, Bob. We've been very fortunate here to have kids go on to the college level and play. The one thing that I would like to stress is the fact that for kids not to have, of course, to have goals and aspirations to want to play at the college level, but make them realistic in terms of the level that you can play at, and that's what I try and stress to the kids is that you're probably a D3 player as compared to what you think you are in terms of a D1 player. So let's get in line with D3 goals and trying to get to that level. Because a D1 kid is not, they don't come around very often.
Right.
And so let's be realistic about where you can truly play. And I encourage the kids and I encourage the parents who think their kid can play better than he actually can in terms of aspirations to play at the college level, to go out and watch a D3 game. Go over and watch Lynchburg College play, and then compare truthfully and honestly to yourself. Can your kid play at this level? And then go watch a D1 game, and then ask yourself the same questions. And more than likely, if they've got the right mindset, they're going to come to the understanding that their kid's probably a D3 player.
And I know you're not saying this at all, but there's nothing wrong with being a D3 player at all.
D3 baseball is very competitive.
Right.
And if the kid has aspirations to play beyond college in terms of hopefully getting drafted and playing professionally and that type of thing, it doesn't matter what level you play at. If you can play, they'll find you. A good example there is Billy Wagner playing at Ferrum.
Mm-hmm.
That was D3 at the time, and they found him, and he had a very successful pro career.
Talk about the leadership in terms of your team, because obviously we talk about the coaching staff sticking around and everything, but you're only as good as the leadership of your team. Talk about what you've seen out of your leaders this year.
Well, I think really we only have one vocal leader, and that's our senior Jake Cleaver, who is our second baseman, and it's also our closer. So from a vocal standpoint, it's him. We have some other kids that lead by example. Mark Heidemann does a great job for us in the outfield. He hits leadoff for us and is doing a super job there. Antonio Pazio's been doing a great job offensively and defensively for us. I don't know exactly how the stats go throughout the district in the area, but this kid's got 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, and the ball just looks like probably a beach ball to him right now. But leading by example is something we stress a whole lot. You can talk the talk all you want, but can you walk the walk? And we got some kids that are doing both right now.
If somebody came out to see JF play these last 3 games, if things are going well, talk about maybe some other kids that we haven't mentioned that are also kind of eye catchers, or maybe that they won't catch people's eye, but if they're not doing what they need to do, you guys are in trouble.
Well, we've got a couple of juniors that are stepping up for us as well. Cal Hoggard has done a great job for us at shortstop. And Cameron Bird, another junior we've got over here at third base, and he's really starting to pick his game up, and he's doing it well defensively, and he's hitting the ball for us in the clutch as well.
Do you like the new rule that if you guys want to practice year-round, with the exception of a few weeks, you can pretty much do it?
I think that's going to be okay. But we try not to burn the kids out. That's always been our big approach. Our preseason conditioning we didn't start until after the kids got back off the Christmas break. We did do some practices over here in the fall, but they were just a couple of days a week, and they were very informal, that type of thing. But we got so many kids, as I'm sure other programs do, that are playing travel ball. And that type of thing, all throughout the late summer and fall. that they're gone on weekends playing and that type of thing. And I think we're very conscientious about not burning the kids out.
Well, and I've had coaches tell me too, no matter what the sport, they don't want to see their kids year round. Get them away from me, let me get away from them. Because if you can burn out just by the fact, I think, of being around somebody 24/7 for or not 24/7, but 5 days a week for months and months.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly right there, Bob. And in kids that play other sports in the high school, it's always been our stand that we won't touch you. We don't want to have anything to do with you. We don't want you to have anything to do with us in terms of baseball until you're done with your fall sport or your winter sport, that type of thing, and then we'll pick it up and go from there. With
Jim White retiring, entering this year, and Chris Glaze taking over at Brookville, you've really become the founding father of the Seminole, I guess we could say. And not that you're an old guy, because you're still very young. I think just 1 year older than me, actually. But let's talk a little bit about what you think makes this district good year in, year out with all the baseball you've seen in this league.
Well, I think it starts in your coaching staffs that you have. I look at the coaching staffs throughout the district, and they all have quality coaches that have played, of course, high school ball, and a lot of them, probably most of them, have played some college ball. So I think they bring a wealth of knowledge to their program, and that just channels down to the kids that you can get it across to them.
Have you seen what do you think maybe is a major way the game has changed since the late '80s, early '90s, as opposed to now, in your opinion?
Well, from last year's until this year, I think the biggest change has been in the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to use what's called a BB core bat, and the ball just doesn't jump off the bat like it used to. So I think you're seeing more and more teams go to kind of manufacture runs as opposed to waiting for big innings and that type of thing, because those are few and far between now.
You talk about the bat. Do you think it maybe has affected the kids at all? Or had they been? I assume they knew this was coming.
Yeah, they knew it was coming. It took some adjusting and getting used to, but they bought into the idea that it's a level playing field. Everybody has to use the same composition of bats, and and it is what it is. So everybody's got to deal with it, and you can't let it be a mind game to you. You just got to take what the regs say you're going to use as a bat to take the plate and go with it.
Speaking of mind game, one question real quick before we get to the final question. How tough is it to coach a baseball player sometimes? Because you can fail 6 out of 10 times, but you're still a 400 hitter, and that was good enough for Ted Williams. How tough is it to coach guys like that sometimes when you don't want to put the fact in their head of you're going to fail, but you kind of are going to fail?
Well, I think you can try and get the kids to understand that there's more to having a quality at bat, for example, than just getting a base hit. If you move runners along, or if you sacrifice run or sacrifice fly and it scores a run, or moves a runner along, that type of thing. We talk a lot to the kids day in and day out about having a productive at bat.
Right.
And that might mean a base hit. That might mean you just hitting the ball backside and moving runners along, that type of thing. And, we always stress productive at bat and on-base percentage more so than batting average.
Or I take it that just could mean running the pitch count up, and if you foul off 5 or 6 balls, that's okay too.
And you foul off 5 or 6, and then you strike out. Then that's been a good at bat too. And we try and point that out to the kids right there at the given moment.
Final thing for you, Coach. Always appreciate a lot of fun for me to talk to you. Give me 1 or 2 things that you guys need to do a little bit better, just to make you sleep a little bit better at night as we head down the stretch and head into postseason.
Bob, I really don't know. Traditionally, teams will start off, our program has started off pretty fast, and we've kind of hit a lull towards the end of the season, going into to district tournament or to regional play and that type of thing. But now this year, it's kind of reversed. We started off kind of slow, and we seem to be clicking pretty good right now. So I like our team right now. We played 17 games and only made 14 errors in those total 17 games. Our team batting average is on the rise after every game, and our kids are throwing strikes on the mound. Probably one thing that I would like to see from a pitcher standpoint is our pitchers, our starters, try and go out a little bit more give us more innings. We've only had 1 complete game and we've had to rely on relievers to come in and fill the void for us. So if those starters could give us quality innings to where our relievers wouldn't be taxed so much, I think that would help.
Coach, as always, we appreciate it. Best of luck down the stretch, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
All right, Bob. Thank you.